Right, guys, I'm here with my dad to discuss our teams. Now, obviously, me and my dad were brought up in the same towns, but we're brought up in completely different environments. And I think Dad was brought up in the Glory Hunter years, and I can't really talk about how I was brought up because when I had a choice when I was younger to support either Ipswich Town or Leeds United, and I chose Ipswich Town on the base, and I can tell you why I chose Ipswich Town on the basis that Leeds had just been relegated from the Premier League. And Dad, you don't know this, and I know you wanted me to be a Leeds fan, but I just saw Leeds going down the toilet, so I didn't want to follow. And this is when they got relegated from the Premier League, and then Town relegated Leeds to League One. You remember that back in, what was that, 2008?
Yeah, I do remember it, son. I remember it well.
So I want you to tell me anyway about how you came about supporting a club like Leeds. Mm-hmm. And that will obviously bring us on to where we are now and where we sit in the table. But yeah, Dad, take the mic. Tell me about Leeds.
Well, Leeds United, they're not just a club. They are one's life. Any Leeds United fan will tell you that they're a massive part of their life. They're not just a football club. They are everything. Our stadium is our church. We have the amongst the greatest fan base on earth. We have the most intimidating atmosphere. We are easily as big as any club out there, or we have the potential to be as big as any club out there. I started out as a Leeds United fan as a 6-year-old boy. My dad, your granddad, I sat in a room with him once. We had the old black and white television on, and there was a football match on, and I said, "Dad, what team do you like?" He said, "Well, I always like Leeds United because of the the Billy Bremners, the Johnny Giles, the Norman Hunters, the Paul Maidleys, the Paul Reeneys, and from then on, I was a Leeds United fan. I saw this team all in white. Revy put them all in white to match the great Real Madrid. And to be honest with you, even to this day, when Leeds lose, it spoils my whole week. Leeds United is everything to me. Everything.
I think you talk about an important aspect of everyone's life when it comes to football and supporting a football club. Yeah, to an extent, I would say that if Town lost, maybe not this season, but in the past, that would spoil my whole weekend, probably even my whole week, especially when you're challenging for something. And Leeds have been up there, they've been down there, they've won cups, they've been in finals. Since the 70s, Leeds have been a massive club. And do you think that period in their history has actually won number of fans over, has created legacies between Leeds fans?
Are you on about the period when Ipswich were doing well in Europe and winning the FA Cup, or are you on about Leeds of the era of the Don Revie era?
I'm talking about Leeds, Don Revie.
Of course, all fans relate to their best eras, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, with us, we had a good spell in the 90s. We were doing very, very well in Europe. We made the Champions League semi-final. We lost the second leg 3-0 in Valencia. We go back to the 75-76 season where we were in Paris. I watched the game. I remember it to this day. I was 12 years old, or 11, coming on 12. We destroyed a Bayern Munich team, absolutely destroyed them, annihilated. We had a goal disallowed. Billy Bremner was ruled to be offside. when Peter Lorimer put a thunderbolt in the net. We thoroughly deserved to win that game. The referee he robbed us blind, and we knew we were the champions of Europe. And now that Bayern Munich team had, I believe, 8 of the West German 1974 World Cup winning side in, and we played them off the park, annihilated them. Unfortunately, our great fans got a little bit heated, and a few seats went to AWOL, and a few hundred seats ended up on the pitch aimed at the Bayern Munich players' heads. Our great fans are passionate. We are the best. And I will say, while I'm on here, I would just want to say hello to all the Wacko fans, because I want you to watch this video. Great bunch of followers. We have lots of chat on there, and of course, Gert, you're a legend, mate. One day I'm going to meet you. The Wacko site and all the Leeds United fans love you all, follow you closely, and we are a family. Simple as that.
It's nice to hear the different side. Obviously, you've had 30, nearly 40 years of watching Leeds. Well, more than that actually now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But of what you've remembered and experienced. But obviously, like for me, I've supported Ipswich since I was 12 or 13. Slightly later bloomer to football than you in terms of supporting it. But in terms of supporting Ipswich, started following towards maybe 2004, 2005. Mm-hmm. That was my choice. I always felt it was my choice to support a team. I was lucky enough to be able to go down to the football and watch it on a regular occasion from that age. And that's how I got into football. And basically, I've just watched a team that's stagnated, a team that has history, similar to Leeds United, but stagnated over time. And it's not really done anything since. And I think there's a lot of teams that do struggle to get that investment. Now, when I look at a side like Leeds, who are continuously making changes, but continuously doing the right thing, and they're bringing in different ideas and different investment, and there's so many things you can look up to in a club like Leeds. But then it brings us to this season, and Ipswich are bottom of the league, looking to go down to League One, something that probably should have happened 4 or 5 years ago. Leeds have done that. What did Leeds learn from that lesson?
When you say what lesson, just put me in the light again. What do you mean from what lesson?
So, in the sense, Leeds got relegated to League One, and they bounced back after 2 seasons, wasn't it, in League One? Yeah,
well, Ipswich can reflect on. It's down to the ownership, what the owner's putting into the club. Ipswich Town, I've seen many great Ipswich Town sides. With the Kevin Beattie was an absolutely fabulous player. I saw your video with the legends Mariner, Talbot. I've seen you speaking to John Walk, another fabulous player. Mariner was incredible. Talbot was a regular for many years. I watched as a young lad. I went down a few times and saw the Mickey Mills, George Burley, Alan Hunter, Brian Hamilton. Hell of a side. You've had some incredible sides over the years. Bobby Robson was a great manager, and I believe that your history, with your history, I'm hoping the fans can remember, especially the older fans, can remember where you've come from, where you should be able to get back to. You've got a lovely stadium, and obviously born and bred in Ipswich. I like to see my home club do well. I don't want to see them go down to League One. However, going down to League One could help them immensely as a club, and you're going to then find out what character you have in your in that, not only the squad but the club in general as a whole. Ipswich Town are not a League One club; they're a Championship club. And to be honest with you, you know, the size of the town, the amount of support they have, it should really be a Premier League club. And unfortunately, they're a yo-yo team, a little bit like Norwich, except the difference between you and Norwich is that Norwich City have no history. They've won virtually bugger all. They've won, like, I don't know, one Milk Cup or League Cup or whatever it was. I can't think of anything off the top of my head what they've won. You know, no club's going to do well with a bloody whatever she is in charge. You know, you've got history with your club. You've got backbone. You've got legends. You've done well in European games over the years. I can't see Ipswich being down in League One for too long, but I do think 1, 2 or 3 seasons would do them a world of good to rebuild a platform to bring them back to where they should be.
Yeah, agree with that. Totally agree with that. Now, you mentioned quite an important catalyst in you know, the history of Ipswich Town, although they don't really compare in any sense. Norwich City are currently top of the table. Leeds trail by 5 points, and sandwiched in between them is Sheffield United now. I have seen Norwich and I've seen Sheffield United down at Portman Road this season, and last day of the season Leeds United are in town. They sold out every hotel in the town. They're hoping for a promotion party. Now, of those two sides, Sheffield United absolutely blew me away at Portman Road. Norwich at home at Portman Road didn't show up, but at Carrow Road they were a completely different side. Now, I'm going to Sheffield United, and yeah, I'm going to watch Leeds as well, but I firmly think that there's a 3-horse race there, obviously on points, but I'd say the deserved of the top 3 has got to be Norwich and Leeds to go up automatically. Do you think in the last 8 games Leeds can pull it together and get back into that top 2?
Well, listen, I've been a Leeds United fan for 48 years, okay? I've seen many, many low points and many, many high points. West Brom have slightly just dropped out of everything now, although it's not beyond them to get back into that automatic promotion picture. I think it's just levelled off a little bit now and pulled out of it a bit. So it is Norwich City, Sheffield United and Leeds as it stands, right? Now, Norwich City have been very fortunate. Their best players have all stayed fit, right? Now, you take that Pukey bloke out of their side, okay, and that other geezer who's scoring a few, I can't think of his name now.
Hernandez.
Yeah, and they got one more. But you take those 3 out of their side, then they got no goal scorers, right? Right, Pukey's scoring nearly everything, right? Hell of a player. I've got to give him that, and he stays fit. He doesn't get injured. Leeds has suffered with many, many injuries this season, right? You've seen it yourself. They've been mediocre in some games, and other games they've been like Barcelona, right? Like a team
when they played Derby off the park, that game.
Yeah, and they destroyed West Bromwich Albion.
Yeah,
destroyed them. See, we've had a few strange results. We beat West Brom 4-0 at home. We lost 4-1 away to them.
Yeah.
Right? We beat Norwich 3-0 away. We lost 3-1 at home. But every single game we have lost this season, we've had around 70% possession. Right? That just shows you that we just ain't put our chances away. Now, we've got, what's his name back up front?
What, Root or Bamford?
Bamford. Yeah. Okay, he's got a slight injury again. Root's been injured. Bamford is world class. I don't care what anyone say. It's just keeping him fit. Okay, so we've been unlucky with fitness. We've actually been down to the bare bones of the team at a couple of points. So I think we've done well to stay up there in the top 3. Now, Sheffield United, hats off to Sheffield United, right? that guy had no budget. He had very little budget to play with. The squad he's done, what he's done with, is absolute marvel. So hats off to him. I don't know the Sheffield United manager's name.
Chris Wilder.
Yeah.
So he's brought in players like he's got Billy Sharp, brought in McGoldrick.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean Billy Sharp, another dimension. You know, that bloke's for Sheffield United over the years. He's an incredible player. Incredible player. Well done, Billy Sharp. But I'm not sure of their. I mean, last 8 games, I'm not sure of their running. I know Norwich have got the easier, the 3 run-ins. However, having said that, Leeds have still got a few points to pick up now. Their last game of the season at Ipswich won't be easy. It never is. Ipswich have got a good record against Leeds at home, but if we play like we can play, we there's a possibility of destroying you. Or, like I say, if it goes with records, we could end up getting beat ourselves. Norwich City have got an easy running, a lot easier running. I don't see any slip-ups there because they've got all their players fit. Now, if they lose some of their players due to fitness, then that might be a different story.
Yeah.
Right? They've been very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. We played them at home. We had loads of chances. We just didn't put them away. No. And they ended up winning 3-1. Yeah. We hit the woodwork in that game. We scored a late goal, but to lose at home to them was a real kick in the guts.
Well, that's the difference between 2 sides at the moment. That game and 1 or 2 where they haven't picked up points, and that puts it on that. Yeah. And
whether Leeds do it this year, I'd love to see them do it again. And I think it's time we rebuilt on Elland Road, stay where we are. Put another tier on a Cop End, put another tier on a South Stand, and another tier on a West Stand, because we'd fill that stadium, no problem.
Yeah, no, and that's I want to pick up on that. If Leeds, we could be coming to the final day of the season at Portman Road. Leeds, fighting for that automatic promotion place, and Ipswich Town going down, bottom of the Championship, and albeit Bolton don't get, shoved. But if Leeds do go up into the Premier League, that can only mean good things for the club that has been out of there for 10, 11 years now. Well, more than that. We're talking 15, 16, 17 years they've been out of there. And it's obviously bitten the club on the arse at times, but they've put a lot of money, a lot of effort into strategy going forward. And if they were to get back into the Premier League, surely that would stabilise the club going forward. What do you think?
Yeah. I remember last time we went up, the pundits were saying, Leeds are going to go down first season. I think they ended up 4th or 5th. They went on to win the very last Division 1 title just before it moved to the Premier League. Yeah. We started off that season away at Everton, big team with big hopes that season. We went there and we won 3-2 at Everton, and we just went on. We won 6-1 away at Sheffield Wednesday. We had a hell of a side, and we done brilliant in Europe. We had Ridsdale in charge then. He had the clout, and he just the bloke ruined the club, really. We were planning for European, the Champions League games, and we had a season where we just missed out in the league. We ended up playing in the UEFA Cup. All our big players joined Man United and clubs abroad. We had Fiduka and all the big names, you name it. Then there was managerial issues with some players like Tony Yeboah, who, one of the greatest strikers you'll ever see. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was asking so much money the club couldn't afford to keep him. And then it just rolled on from there, really. And we went down in the doldrums, and then we went down to League One, and we got stolen 15 points off us, and we still got promoted. Yeah. Right. If my club was in a non-league, mate, I'd still follow them. And so would all the Leeds United fans, right? Because we are amongst the best fans in the world. No question about it.
I'd probably say if Leeds were a Premier League side in the last 10, 15 years, it'd probably be one of the biggest, and they'd be challenge Manchester United, the Man Cities, for to be the biggest club in and around the world. They'd be on level par with the big clubs. That's how much adoration I have for Leeds United, right? But I think they've been a victim of modern football, definitely. And there is a truth behind hitting the wrong, patch of form at the wrong time. And I think Leeds are a victim of that, definitely. But it would be good to see them get back in the Premier League and see if they can challenge themselves at the top, because there is a lot to be said from Leeds fans. And, deservedly so. I think it's about time that they do go up. In my opinion, that 3-horse race is going to go down to the final day. And I wouldn't be shocked if any one of Norwich, Sheffield United or Leeds got automatically promoted. Obviously, only 2 can go up. But surely they've got to bounce through the playoffs. I mean, the playoffs are going to be hard. Whoever's in it, but in terms of competing against sides this season, it's pretty much the top. Those 3 have been up there all season, so it's not really something we can argue about. But anyway, Dad, look, we've gone over it. We've had a good chat.
Yeah, just one more thing I'd like to say. Bielsa, an absolute honour to have that man as a manager of our club. Not only a wonderful man who is a down-to-earth person who will speak to anyone on the street. He's a great role model. Probably one of the most respected managers that has ever graced any football team in our country. Even a Man City manager, was it Guardiola or whatever his name is? I mean, he rates him as one of the best coaches in the world. Lionel Messi rates him as one of the best coaches in the world, and we're very, very fortunate to have him. And we've got to thank Radrizzini and what he's put into the club. He's been an absolute role model, that man. So I think I'm speaking on behalf of every Leeds United fan out there. MOT, marching on together. Okay, see you in the Premier League.
All right, until next time, everyone. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.